What's up, everybody? It's Keefy, and you're watching GhostCodeMag.com's 2024 Rock and Metal Vinyl Reissues Countdown. We're going to be running down some of the best vinyl reissues of the year, some from my personal collection, some I don't have, but I feel are essential for you to have as well. Just a few notes before we get started, as compared to other people's lists. A few ground rules. I tend to not do picture discs or etchings. I don't do a lot of releases that are already plentiful in the space, things that have been repressed over and over again or that you could find cheaply yourself that aren't that essential. I usually buy reissues to fill in a gap in my collection or something I just have to have that hasn't been on vinyl before or hasn't been on vinyl in a long time. We're going to get to the countdown in a second, but first, some essential honorable mentions. Opeth, Still Life, 25th Anniversary Edition, Peaceville Records. At the Gates, Terminal Spirit Disease, 30th Anniversary Edition, Peaceville Records. Cryptopsy, The Book of Suffering, Tome 1 and 2 Mini LP Reissues, Season of Mist. Darkest Hour, Godless Prophets and the Migrant Flora, Vinyl Reissue, Monarch Heavy. Hellripper, Coagulating Darkness, Peaceville Records. King Buzzo and Dunn, Eat the Spray, Ipecac Recordings. AFI's All Hallows EP, and Black Sails in the Sunset, Vinyl Reissues, Craft Recordings. Green Day American Idiot and Green Day Dookie, Warner Brothers Remastered Reissues. And Alice in Chains, Black Gives Way to Blue 15th Anniversary Edition, Craft Recordings. There's a longer list in the description of this video. With that out of the way, let's get it on Mills Lane style. Number 20, Pig Destroyer, Terrifier, Relapse Records. Relapse has been doing a stellar job this year reissuing their back catalog and paying a lot of anniversary edition attention to bands like Pig Destroyer that are really one of the pinnacle bands in grindcore and noise and all kinds of other EPs and releases they've done. Terrifier is clearly one of their best albums along with Prowler in the Yard. You definitely need to get this one. Number 19, Storm Corrosion, self-titled, K-Scope Recordings. The supergroup between Michael Ackerfeld and Steven Wilson was an incredible debut album. It almost came up by surprise. We knew they were working on it. We didn't know what it was going to be. It was absolutely amazing. This expanded, remastered edition by Steven comes with a live version of Drag Ropes, which was the big single from that album, and it's really brilliant, and we hope to get more of this someday. Number 18, and the first one from my personal collection, The Singles Original Soundtrack. This is one of the documents of the 1990s early rock and grunge phenomenon, featuring every notable band except Nirvana, having members of the bands in the movie like Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and Alice in Chains. Pretty incredible, great music, some great originals, some amazing soundtrack stuff, and other songs by Paul Westerberg, and really highlighted the scene. And this reissue also came with a really cool CD that I haven't opened yet, but has the demos from the band Citizen Dick, which is Matt Damon's band in the movie, but features music from Pearl Jam, as well as Chris Cornell's demos that became songs like Seasons and some Soundgarden songs, and some Alice in Chains stuff too. Number 17, Witchfinder General, Death Penalty on Heavy Metal Records. I had to cover the cover because of boobies, and I don't want to get demonetized. This is an awesome new wave of British heavy metal record. It was out of print for a long time in America. There have been copies and presses in the rest of the world. I personally needed this in my collection, as any old school heavy metal fan needs this. Great record. Sounds really great. I think it was remastered for vinyl for the first time really in a long time, and it is excellent. Number 16, and another soundtrack that I absolutely love, the original soundtrack to Almost Famous. This is an amazing movie, which is a fictional tale of Cameron Crowe's real life as a teenage rock journalist in the 70s when he met and interviewed bands like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple and others. The soundtrack is full of bangers and classic rock hits, as well as some fun originals that were made for the imaginary band in the film Stillwater. And it is a terrific soundtrack. It's one of the few rare soundtracks at the time that had Led Zeppelin on it, almost none up to that point, but Jimmy Page personally consented to let their music be on the soundtrack. This is phenomenal. 2 LPs on colored vinyl from Warner Rhino Records. Number 15, Fulci, Opening the Gates of Hell on CBC Records. Fulci is one of the rising extreme metal bands in the world that is getting a huge profile right now. They just toured America with I Am Morbid and a bunch of other bands like Suffocation. They reissued all their early albums to support their new album that's out on vinyl also. This is the best of the early material, their debut. I highly recommend you get this one. Number 14 is a tie. Why? Because it's my list, and fuck you. Number 14 is 2 records by Testament, The New Order and The Legacy. Check these out. Gorgeous brand new replications of the original covers. These albums are absolute bangers and early Bay Area thrash essentials. Second wave Bay Area thrash to be exact. These were remastered for vinyl for the first time in a long time on beautiful swirly colored vinyls, and already came with the Mylar and the packaging. You know that's really important to protect your vinyl and your gear. Basically, Nuclear Blast, always a buy when it comes to reissues and even their standard new stuff. Number 13 is also a tie, because again, it's my list and I do what I want. Stone Temple Pilots' Purple, their classic album that celebrated 30 years this year, and Purple Rarities, which just came out on Black Friday, but I couldn't pick up a copy. It was sold out everywhere. Purple is obviously one of the most essential records in Stone Temple Pilots' career, maybe their best record, arguably, and it's packed with hits, but also deep cuts. It's a beautifully recorded album, again working with Brendan O'Brien. Purple Rarities, the Record Store Day Black Friday album, was super rare and essential demos and outtakes from this record that have never been heard before. If you can somehow find a copy, pick it up, because I'm going to try to also. Number 12, Brutus, Unison Life, Tour Edition. First pressing on an awesome splatter vinyl. I actually bought this from the band at Cornerstone Berkeley in Berkeley, California when they toured here. A phenomenal show, a band that is playing America more and more often, and I'm really looking forward to their next record. But this one, you also have to get. The band is growing in America and touring more and more often internationally, so definitely follow them, pay attention, and pick up this record and probably their next one. Number 11, Ghoul, Splatter Thrash. Man, I love this record. Originally came out on Tank Crimes record. This was a Gimme Metal Vinyl Club album of the month. Welcome back to Gimme Metal and their Vinyl Club and Vinyl Store. Still doing rad things for vinyl nerds like me. Ghoul is one of the most killer bands, probably a little underrated, definitely up my alley. Splatter Thrash is incredible. Basically, the entire album artwork and inner sleeve is a comic book that explains the meaning of every song. Unbelievable, great job packaging and repressing on this awesome, awesome vinyl. Number 10, God Forbid, Earth's Blood, M Theory Recordings. M Theory Recordings does a phenomenal job on reissues and vinyl represses, and you'll see further down in the honorable mention list quite a few of those that we had our eye on. And this record's awesome. It was really underrated at the time it came out. There was not a lot of vinyl pressing going on back in the day. This record is a banger, and with the recent God Forbid reunion shows, as well as hopefully more activities in the future, this is a winner. Number 9 is an album I've been trying to get in my collection for ages, and it's finally repressed and remastered on vinyl. This is the great noise sludge doom band Jucifer with their Calling All Cars live on the Vegas Strip. This album's incredible. I had to cover it because of a thing on the front that one of the members is holding. This album is incredible. It's a testament to how great they are live and how just incredible a wall of sonic destruction they paint. I haven't pulled out a lot of these vinyls to show you, even though many of them are very creative and awesome, but I just wanted to highlight this incredible vinyl with the map on it on the label on both sides. Really fun and creative for a band that is well known for being road dogs for years at a time. Number 8 on the list is from a supergroup, and it is the self-titled album from Team Sleep, out now on Ipecac Recordings. Team Sleep is a supergroup from Chino Moreno of Deftones and members of ISIS, the band. This was long out of print. It might have had a limited vinyl release when it first came out. I didn't have one, and on top of that, it finally has the lost tracks, which include one with Mary Timony from Helium and one from Mike Patton of Faith No More and Mr. Bungle. Incredible. Number 7 on the list comes to us from Seven Sons. One of Us is the Killer, out on Silent Pendulum Records. This record's incredible. It's basically a full album, tribute album to the Dillinger Escape Plan. Seven Sons is associated with Dillinger Escape Plan. They played on their record with them. They played at some of their farewell shows. And the album of covers is amazing. Great reinterpretation of those songs. And Silent Pendulum's a killer label that personally handcrafts whatever limited runs of vinyl they do. This packaging is incredible, and I feel really lucky to get this one. Number 6, SSD Control. The Kids Will Have Their Say, out now on Trust Records, originally on Exclaim Records back in the day. SSD is a hugely important band to me. Even before I lived in Boston years ago, I love this hardcore band. So political, so righteous, so many banger songs. This was terribly recorded, and they actually did a beautiful job cleaning up the original as best as you could. You don't want to lose all the grime and grittiness from those 80s hardcore records, but this is one I had to have in 2024. People who watch these videos in our channel and our posts know I'm a huge fan of Alice in Chains, and Alice in Chains had 2 vinyl reissues in 2024, but this one in particular, Jar of Flies, incredible. This Jar of Flies Alice in Chains reissue comes to you from Columbia Records, their original label, and it is phenomenal. Just for a little history, Jar of Flies was the first EP in the rock genre to ever debut at #1, and it's become a beloved part of Alice in Chains history. It's partly why they got to do Alice in Chains Unplugged. This album was so popular when it was reissued this year that Jar of Flies entered the charts for the first time even since it came out. Unbelievable, and a great, great record. Many people snap this one up to get it its high chart position, but it's a banger. It's an all-time great record, maybe one of the best EPs of all time in the genre. The number 4 album in our countdown is Wolves in the Throne Room, Black Cascade on Southern Lord Records. This is a 2 LP on beautiful Forest Green Records. This was kind of a late edition. I think it wasn't promoted very well as part of the Record Store Day Black Friday list, but it was awesome that it did come out for Record Store Day Black Friday. I was lucky to snap up a copy. It's the only record I got for Black Friday that I bought myself. I was sent a couple of others, and this record still holds up years later. It is amazing. Not a lot of great black metal on Record Store Day, Black Friday, or Record Store Day, but this one is an absolute masterpiece. The number 3 album on our list shouldn't be a big surprise. Norma Jean Wrongdoers, out on Craft Recordings. This anniversary reissue slaps, and I was very fortunate that Craft Recordings sent this to me, and it ended up being a huge part of our 2024 Record Store Day Black Friday preview video, which you can watch here on the channel. But what a killer album, one of the pinnacle metalcore albums, and one of the best albums of Norma Jean's career. Number 2 is Mastodon, Crack the Sky 15th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. I didn't buy this one because I have 2 versions of Mastodon Crack the Sky already. If you followed Ghost Cult, you know that we love Crack the Sky here. It is literally the modern Dark Side of the Moon. If you follow Ghost Cult, you know that we love Mastodon and we love Crack the Sky. I have gone on record as saying that Crack the Sky is the Dark Side of the Moon of the decade that it came out in, and the Crack the Sky Deluxe Edition was lovingly put together with all kinds of extra content, a whole book explaining the album, the visualizers that were kind of long lost and now put up on YouTube, but so worth having if you don't have Crack the Sky already. Absolutely get this new version. And the number 1 album of our 2024 Rock and Metal Countdown of Vinyl Reissues this year is the Black Sabbath Anno Domini box set. This thing's incredible, and to break down why it's so awesome, I brought in a guest. Please welcome in Nik Cameron of the Glacially Musical Pouredcast.
I am good. I did not know I was going to be joined by Keefy Casey Kasem. Thank you very much for listening to the Top 40 Countdown.
That's sometimes what it is. It's sometimes a countdown, my friend.
Well, I'm going to go into my NPR voice. Thank you all for listening and joining us on the delicious pizza. This week, we are counting down the top vinyl re-releases. Of course, number 1 is the box set that no one asked for, except for 7 people in San Diego. That, of course, is Black Sabbath, Anno Domini. All of the Tony Martin records that you don't remember in one convenient box set.
But in truth, people were clamoring for this thing forever.
There was
I don't know why. The records are not that good.
They're
good. They're not great.
They're 30-30-30s. Funny story, when I was going back to get back into buying music and expanding my music collection back when I was still on CDs, I was trying to find these records. I remembered the bass player in my band had Eternal Idol. He had Born Again. No, wait, I had Eternal Idol. Anyway, I was trying to find these things again, and they were so out of print that Amazon and eBay didn't have them, even on CD or cassette. So I wanted to hear them. I have one of the four, on original pressing, which is Black Sabbath Tear, which was the second one that Tony Martin wrote. Of course, it is 4 albums. It is Headless Cross. It is Tear. Then we get the Dio Commercial Interruption of Dehumanizer, which is not in the set, followed by Cross Purposes, which might be the best of the 4, and then Forbidden remixed to not sound like Lars farting alongside St. Anger's snare drum. So there was a very small vocal portion of fans. I can recall being in CD Warehouse in South County, seeing a man expounding on the Tony Martin years about how that was the best era. And I thought, wow, I've never heard anybody say those words in that order without the word not or some expletives. I didn't get it. But Duncan Evans and I on the Department of Middle Antiquities podcast had done episodes on all of these, and we came back basically bin it on all of them because they're just not that good. But when I got them on vinyl and I actually listened to them through a quality stereo system rather than just my AirPods, rather than just the Bluetooth speaker I have in my kitchen, it became much better. It comes with the 4 records, as mentioned. The packaging of each record is stripped down. The liner notes are put into a book with a lot more information, and it comes with a poster. The CD version of the poster is perfect. It would fit in this right here. And if I had the CD version, it would be that poster would be hanging on my wall right now. However, for some reason in the CD version, they wanted to give you a 4x8 poster. I don't know how big it actually is, but it covers me. And that just seems, nobody likes it this much. I don't think anybody likes these albums so much that you need an entire wall in your house covered by a poster of it.
In fairness, all the recent last 5 years of Black Sabbath box set reissues of the classic Ozzy stuff also come with ginormous 10-foot posters, all of them. It's bizarre.
If in double fairness, if we're going to go back and forth and fairing each other, the Pink Floyd re-release of Dark Side of the Moon live at Wembley also has a ginormous poster. Except the ginormous poster in that release is even worse than this because it makes no sense. It's, oh look, here's a drawing of the cover of Dark Side of the Moon.
Sketch of the triangle of the period of the prism. Why? The sketch in black and white in pencil, pre-created sketch from a pencil drawing on paper
with where it writes what colors it's going to be. It's spectacular. I don't know
who needs this.
I don't know anybody.
They're my favorite band. I don't need this either.
It was a choice. It was a definite choice.
I felt I had really this was a year, and I've talked about it earlier in this live stream podcast, whatever. I said this was a down year for me buying vinyl. I got sent a bunch of vinyl, and it turns out, revelation time, I have bought more reissues this year than I actually bought current metal records because I had some current ones sent to me. And I had some reissues sent to me also as please review this, here's a gift, and which I'm grateful. But I needed to own this, not because the music is great and I think Tony Martin is great. He's really unsung he's really forgotten. And everybody knows my love for Born Again. And that's the next thing I need, have a box set of Born Again somehow remastered and redone, maybe with Ian Gillan's participation. But I needed to have this, and I shelled out for it because I need, when I was doing better financially earlier in the year, I was like, oh, you have to have this.
I remember looking at this, when they announced it, and I looked at Lawyer Wife and I said, I'm going to buy this as long as it's $200 or less. And she went, why? I don't know. I don't want it.
She would be excellent at CinemaSins. Why?
That was her response. Thankfully, what I didn't tell her was I actually would have gone to 3. Mind you, it was her money, not mine. But so I'm.
Any other thoughts on this box set?
It was finishing.
Oh, sure. I'm going to just say it's been a stellar year for vinyl reissues, but this box set in particular, and a lot of box sets again are unnecessary, but this one I just felt like a lot of people. Sabbathophiles wanted it.
They also re-released each individual album as well. But what I really loved about it is it really was cheap. I got mine for $90. And just buying Forbidden in and of itself, not that you should, it's $500. It's ridiculous because it came out
for a first press or a different press.
There only is a first press.
Oh, okay, that's why.
It's these or the first press.
Yeah, typically, also, this record would not be it's not worth $500.
It's not worth $500, but it's worth $500 because it's so rare.
That's it, yeah.
And that's same with Motley Crue, self-titled. But I should also say these are really, really well pressed by Rhino. Every Rhino repressing I've gotten, and I have multiple Sabbath ones that I've just kind of gotten over the years, all spectacular, spectacular pressings. I'm very much on record in not trusting, not trusting modern represses because of the universal fire. But I don't know if Rhino has the original masters, if they're all in England or what. But everything they have done that I have heard has been the kind of record that you play for people to let them know what vinyl sounds like. If you don't mind, I'm going to switch up into my honorable mentions, unless there's anything else.
I was going to say, yeah, please share with us your personal favorite other vinyl reissues this year that you have.
I didn't buy a whole lot of vinyl reissues this year. Mostly, because vinyl reissues is just, like, as I just said, is not really my thing. My thing is chasing down the original pressings. But these records that I'm about to pop out, which are continuations on the theme of Black Sabbath, do not have original pressings. These are the original pressings. This is, of course, is Tony Iommi and Glenn Hughes fused. It's a double record. Cool blue color. They didn't squish it onto one. There's a couple of bonus tracks on here that I have absolutely no recollection of. I assume they are songs that are on the record. That's as much as I can say about them.
They are songs. They are songs that exist.
They are songs that exist pressed onto that record to fill it out. Spectacular. I am also very much on record saying I don't need leftovers, because if the leftovers didn't make the record to begin with, I probably don't need them now. And continuing on the exact same theme, Tony Iommi and Glenn Hughes, the 1996 Depth Sessions. This was an aborted project that happened while he was recording this. He went back into negotiations with Ozzy and Sharon to bring back Black Sabbath. This one doesn't have a cool color, just a regular black one. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it does have a cool color. It is same color as my Metallica Black album. You just can't really see it on camera unless you're looking from my direction. Cool smoke black. Not bad. I mean, these, if I'm being honest, these records are not phenomenal. They fall very much in line with Anno Domini. They are records that Tony Iommi was on that you should at least hear. Moving on, I got two more. One of the things I love is nerdcore rap. I love it unnaturally. I love rap songs about Star Wars and robots and life on the streets of Planet Dune, much like I love songs about Planet Dune by Iron Maiden. So here we have MC Chris. MC Chris Goes to Hell. This one was released on CD twice. Once with all the songs remixed and a few more. Once with all the songs and skits. The CD version did not have the skits. There was one pressing that MC Chris did himself, where he only had about 2/3 of the songs, none of the skits, which made no sense because there was plenty of wax left. So I bought this because it has all the songs: Dengar's Dump Truck, Zuckus's Prius, IG-88's 57 Chevy, Japanese Made, drinking blunt, smoking 40s, all that kind of good stuff.
Creamsicle color?
It is a creamsicle color.
Lovely, lovely.
A little overused, but yeah. And continuing on that theme, this label actually put out 5 re-releases, and I'm going to get at least one more. I haven't decided. But this one is the one right before it, MC Chris is Dead, which is actually the first MC Chris record I bought when it was new. These were pressed in 3 different colors each. I was smarter on this one, and I got the cool black and orange pinwheel.
I feel like I have a few with that design also, including a King Diamond.
All of these are on 2 records because when he does his skits, the skits are really long. This one is a 45, but I still need to get... I'm definitely going to buy MC Chris Race Wars, which isn't what it sounds like. It means like car race. Car race. Not... I know, it sounds terrible. But the vinyl edition of that did not have any of the skits and was missing my favorite song, so...
There goes my YouTube affiliation and partnership. I think the Iommi records are in the long list of the honorable mentions, so I'm really glad that you had them and showed them off. Do you have anything else to share about reissues?
That is all I got. I did not buy a whole lot of reissues this year.
Is there anything, what is your, last question, what is your bucket list thing that has not been reissued that you want? Mine is Born Again.
I have an original press of Born Again, so I don't need that. I want Motley Crue self-titled. There was only one kind of sort of maybe re-release of it, which was John Corabi playing it live, and he only pressed like 300 copies. And John Corabi is not what I would call a unit shifter, but the thing was sold out in a weekend. I like that record. I like the Weird records, as everybody knows, and I just want a copy of that. I love that album.
Alrighty.
That's my bucket list. Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. And that's our countdown. Thanks for everybody who watched. Thanks for everybody who's watched all our Album of the Year and 2024 end of year content. It's been a blast. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for watching. I'm Keefy from GhostColdMan.com, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.